Ayy, so amazing. You see how they playing? LiveWire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats, you know that we gotta run it back. Whether on the field or the court, you know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is LiveWire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
What's good, Washington Commander fans? All right, just a little update on OTA news and upcoming training camp. Looks like the Washington Commanders will not hold regular OTAs on today because the coaches felt that the offseason went very, very well with a lot of, great output from Emmanuel Forbes, the wide receivers, Sam Howell, and so forth and so on. So, but I think they most likely will do like a general walkthrough session, pretty much. But according to Nikki Javala on Twitter, said that the coaches felt like the offseason went well and went well as attended, and they didn't want to risk further injury. Players will just have meetings and light walkthrough on Tuesday, today, to cap their off-season program, and which is good. They give them a little break, a little bit, because they went, a little hard. Now we didn't see Chase, Montez, and Charles Leno participate in OTAs, but they was in the 3-day mini camp that we just had last week. So that was a good tape to get everybody. But the ones that was there, like the Sam Howells, Terry McLaurin, and everybody else, and Emmanuel Forbes, got to see Quan Martin, how these guys progress. So this is a good way for them to kind of like still keep fresh before training camp hits. Once training camp hits, then there's going to be all out and everything like that, and then they definitely will rev up a lot more. Also, Ron Rivera and defensive coordinator Jack Del return. Offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy also returned and is installing a new offense. So with everything that's going well, training camp will kick off on July 27th, which I will get in more details of that. Washington OTAs was very, which some was voluntary. The ones who attended, we already know all about that. But nevertheless, the ones that was there, it was very, very productive. We got to see what Emmanuel Forbes looked like, and looks like he is trending to be CB1. I'll go in a little bit more in depth a little later on in another video. You got to see the progression of Sam Howell. Even though he has, in the 3-day mini camp, he a little up and down, but he still established his stuff as still QB1 going into training camp. Now, as we all know, that Ron Rivera has said that, hey, because he's QB1, he's not the starter for week 1, but I bet money on it that he will be the starter. I think Eric Bieniemy is going to have Sam Howell right before the first game of the season to be the starter. I just don't think they're going to go all in with him and not let him be the starter, even though they got Josie Bissett there and he's very capable. I don't see that happening. So now I'm going to turn my attention to training camp. Now, the Washington Commanders will hold 12 open practices during training camp. This is something they did last year and everything. And last year they did have, I think one day they had a content creators day, whatever the case may be. But training camp do kick off on July 27th and everything like that. And they have the dates situated for where training camp kicks off all the way until August. So pretty much that's going to be, I think that's going to be fun and exciting and everything like that. You get to see these guys get the rev up, because in late August there will be preseason, and there's only 3 games of preseason that you're going to be able to get to showcase some of the talent on the field. There's going to be a lot, and there could be more added to the roster. There could be some pickups for depth purposes, just some signings and stuff like that. Now, hopefully, by training camp midway through July, that the NFL and Josh Harris will finally officially be the owner of the Washington franchise. So that will help speed things along, especially dealing with contract situations, with Montez, Curl. I don't think there will be a long-term contract for Chase Young yet, because we want to see what Chase Young looks like going into training camp, heading into preseason, and then the regular season. With all the trade rumors swirling around Chase Young, there's a possibility that Chase Young could get traded before the start of the season. We don't know. Depends on how he looks through training camp. We don't know. So there's a lot of things up in the air at this moment. But with that being said, I believe Ron Rivera is being fair to Chase Young by having him prove himself. The same way they did with Terry, the same thing they did with Deron Payne last year, and it panned out. So if Chase comes in there, and despite all these trade rumors and stuff, whether they true or false, whatever the case may be, if Chase comes in there and with his head down and do what he needs to do, hey, then it works out perfectly. Now, we did know that in minicamp last week, there was, they had wildfire smoke that's in the parts of Canada that was trickling down New York, down to the state. So that I believe that's over with, but hey, who knows? Now, with the Commanders announcing they training camp dates, the first one will be on Thursday, July 27th, and it will continue through Friday and Saturday, with Saturday practice will be a part of an NFL's Get Back Together event. Then the rest of the open practices will be placed in August 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 8th, 9th, 13th, 14th, 18th, and 19th. And August 8th practice will be Military Appreciation Day, and August 9th will be a designated day for kids. So, but unless that, the main thing is for these guys to get back on the field and ramp up. There's going to be a lot of, by the time the season gets here, you're going to have to cut down your roster. You're going to have to see who's going to pan out, place on practice squad, and all of that stuff like that. So my thing is that it's going to be, like I say, it's going to be beneficial for the Washington Commanders just to get these guys back in there. But today, just having a nice light walkthrough, workout, and meetings and stuff there where guys continue to learn from the playbook, kind of continue to understand, from a scheme standpoint, especially like the young rookies like Emmanuel Forbes, Quan Martin, and then you got Sam Howell still, working on the new playbook with Eric Bieniemy and so forth and so on. So, this is a good day for them, and everything like that. And I do believe even if they did have OT on this last OTA today, you probably wouldn't see no Chase Young. You probably wouldn't see no Montez Sweat. You probably wouldn't see no Charles Leonard. So with that being said, with everything that has went on with the squad, I believe that right now it's pretty good. Other news and notes going on to this is that Sadiq Charles is looking healthy and is really stepping up in his contract year. So that's another contract person that we have to deal with, especially with everything that's going on. There gonna be some guys that we probably can't keep. You gotta think about it. Curtis Samuels is a free agent after this year. Antonio Gibson is a free agent after this year. There's a lot of guys that we might not keep. So therefore, having enough depth, bringing in enough guys that could probably take their place. I do believe if we don't retain Antonio Gibson after the year, then we still got Jared Patterson there. And then we drafted a rookie, Chris Rodriguez. And if Chris Rodriguez pans out the way we think he could, then that could be the Antonio Gibson replacement. So, and I know a lot of people, a lot of fans of AG, which I like AG also, but we just can't keep everybody. And, as you think as salary caps each year gets higher and higher, you want to have less big contracts, but retain the core people that you have on your team, so that later on you'll be able to sign some of these rookies. Because you got to think, Terry just got signed, Jonathan Allen's on the contract, you got Payne locked up, so now you want to get one of your DNs, and that's, like I said before, it's going to be Montez Sweat, because he's been the most productive for the 3 years that he's been there. Chase hasn't, and it's not fair criticism on Chase, but it's just what it is. It's business. And we could like players, and we don't want players to leave, and we say, oh, this person could do this, but at the end of the day, there's always somebody there to replace that person and take over. So it happens every day in football. It happens every year in football. So it's what it is. Also, Khalid Hudson has been looking great also. So I think Khalid Hudson might be that the guy in the middle that calls plays this year. So that's going to be probably special to see too. I like Khalid Hudson. He played well last year when I watched him a little bit. So there's a lot of things that's going on with the team. So hopefully we get, once training camp kick off, we get to see a whole lot of this team, a lot of players, and give our analysis of who we think might make the team and so forth and so on. But until then, this your boy, LiveWire, Sports Entertainment, LWSNE. Continue to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell anytime I drop a hardcore video. Until then, hail to the Commanders. I'm out.